everyone, I hope you're well. Today we will be looking at Light of the World as requested as a Hanukkah song. This song is written by Matt Redmond and it's a really lovely song in the key of C. So we'll begin to move our harps into C. There's a little bit of rain outside, so hopefully that won't be too distracting and we'll feel rather cozy. So we'll do a scale of C before we move into our piece. And we have the words, "Light of the world, you stepped down into darkness, open my eyes, let me see." So that's the first line of the verse. And if you remember, in the key of C, our four chords that we use are C, G, A minor and F. So we'll be using those as our main chords. So that will be the bread and butter of our chords. And then we're going to add in a couple extra things like a D minor in there as well, which is our number 2. So we have our chord 1 is C, our chord 4 is F, our chord 5 is G, and moving up to the A minor is our 6. So we're using 1, 4, 5 and 6 usually, and we might add in a little chord 2 there for our D minor as well. So let's begin. We're going to begin with line 1, "Light of the world, you step down into darkness," and that is going to be our C chord, which is our 3, 2 and thumb on C, E and G. Moving to the G chord, G, B and D. Moving to the D minor, our chord 2. And then our F, our chord 4. So what we'll have with one hand, "Light of the world, you stepped down into darkness." And with our two hands, we would have the same thing lined up, C, E, G, C, E, G. "Light of the world, you stepped down into darkness. Opened my eyes, let me see." C chord, moving to the G chord, moving again to the F chord. "Opened my eyes, let me see." And with our two hands, again the same thing. "Opened my eyes, let me see." And then we have "Beauty that made this heart adore you." C, moving to the G, again to the D minor. So we're just going to repeat that pattern of our verse. "Beauty that made this heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you." Again, our C, moving to our G and moving down to our F. "Hope of a life spent with you." And that is our whole verse. So now we can move into our chorus, which is again using the same block chords. So again we have, "Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God." So we have our C chord moving to our G, moving to our A minor, and moving to our F. C, G, A minor, F. "Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God." So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. And with our two hands, the same thing. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. So we just repeat that same pattern for the whole chorus: C, G, A minor and F. And now for our bridge is our last bit. I'll never know how much it cost. We have our G chord, our 3, 2 and thumb on G, B and D. And I'll never know, moving to the C chord, C, E and G. Know how much, F chord, much it cost, up to the G, to see my sin upon that cross. And the same thing with our two hands. I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. And then again you're into the chorus. Here I am to worship. C, G, A minor and F. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. So if you wanted to add in something extra, if you are intermediate or advanced, if you are a beginner, please just keep on with the chords and try to get into the timing. But if you would like to add in some extra layers, we can do our long C, C, G, C, E, G, C. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. So you can really mess around with your harp, and I would just encourage you to practice moving around your hands and seeing what your fingers, what kind of melodies they can make as a counter melody to the song when you sing, because when you sing a melody and you add a counter melody with the harp, it can sound really lovely. And then again, you're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. And you can also add in some of your inversions. I would invite you to add some of your inversions. So we're going to do an inversion of F, which is our second inversion, because we have in our normal F chord, F, A and C. Here is our A. We're going to use A as our root note and do A, C and F, and just move up and down. A, C and F, moving up one. And we have I'll never know how much it cost. Again, our G chord, moving to our C chord, long G, G, D, G, B, D, G. I'll never know, C chord, know how much F it cost to see my sin upon that cross. So on and so forth, and then back into our chorus again. And I would just encourage you to spend a little bit of your time in worship, improvising around your scale when you have your long F, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Maybe you're going to move to the B, you're going to add an F there. And it's just a really lovely time to explore with your harp as you do so, and you can sing the chorus with it. So that is our chord version for Here I Am to Worship. There'll be a melody version as well. I hope you enjoy this piece, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.